The Joy-Cons for the Nintendo Switch are a unique set of controllers, and on this channel we have done several mods to them, ranging from simple plastic shell swaps to beautiful machined aluminum ones from Boxy Pixel. But today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be modding a pair of boring, standard, run-of-the-mill gray Joy-Cons with customizable RGB LEDs that let you do some really cool things. Let's take a closer look. Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Tito and welcome to another episode of Retro Renew. Today I have a really cool mod for the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. This is an RGB LED mod with some pretty cool features. What differentiates this LED kit from others is that it utilizes a microcontroller to give the mod some really cool functionality. The kit can be programmed to allow you to have different colors for different buttons. This lets you do cool things like mimic the Super Famicom color scheme as an example. This is just one of several customizable functions that this kit can do. Additionally, you can dim the brightness of the LEDs, cycle through different colors with its rainbow mode, or just have simple solid colors. Now this kit comes from a very cool modder named Mitch from the Bay Area in California who kindly sent me one of these kits. But rest assured, I'll be giving you my honest opinion of this mod. Now I will preface that this mod is on the more difficult side. However, Mitch does offer services to install these kits for you. I'll have more details on his services later on in the video. Anyway guys, if you enjoy learning about mods like this, as well as other interesting retro gaming content, be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel for plenty more weekly mod videos, just like this one. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to start off by showing you what's included in the RGB LED mod kit. Then I'll demonstrate how you can install it yourself, discuss the key features of this mod, go over the pros and cons, and of course, provide you with my overall thoughts. So the first item in the kit are these really cool flex PCBs which come pre-installed with custom resin cast buttons. Mitch makes these buttons himself and they appear to be good quality. These particular buttons are a sort of pearlescence color which do a fantastic job at evenly diffusing the light produced by the RGB LEDs. Plus, they have a beautiful finish. The only other thing included in the kit are some wires that will be used to make all the necessary connections to the Joy-Con PCB. And that's it. That's everything included in this small kit. Now, if you want to do a full button swap, you can purchase the remaining Joy-Con buttons separately. Mitch makes full replacement cast resin buttons which are available for purchase in an assortment of colors. Anyway, now that we've seen all the parts of this kit, let me show you how you can install these in your Joy-Cons. Okay, to start this mod off, you're going to need to completely tear down your Joy-Cons, and then isolate the primary Joy-Con PCBs. There are many fantastic tutorials that show you how to do this, so we'll skip right ahead to the mod. We're going to first start with the left Joy-Con PCB. To start, we need to slightly scratch the surface of the pads we'll be soldering to. This will help the solder to wet properly since there is a tiny film protecting these pads. This pad here is for the latch detect signal. This tells the microcontroller when the Joy-Con is latched to the switch. This one is for the up button. And this one is ground. And this pad will supply power to the kit. Once you've scratched all the pad surfaces, go ahead and pre-tend them all with some solder. Once that's done, solder a wire to each of the 4 pads. Then flip the PCB over and locate this tiny capacitor and solder a wire to the lower pad, which is the one closest to the tactile switch. This will be for tapping the minus button signal. Great, now let's move on to the other Joy-Con PCB and do the same thing. This first pad here is for tapping into the X button signal. This one is for the latch signal. This is our grounding point. And this one is for the plus button signal. Now go ahead and pre-tin all the pads. We're going to tap power from this capacitor, so go ahead and solder a wire to this side of it. And then add a wire to all the other vias we pre-tinned. Next, we're going to need to modify the shells. Let's start with the left Joy-Con. I'm marking all the areas we'll need to trim. This will create space for the flex PCB. And this is how everything should look. We also need to trim this support brace on the battery holder midframe, as well as this support post, and this post here. Once complete, go ahead and drop in the buttons. Please note, you will only be reusing the membranes for the minus and capture buttons. You will not be reusing the membrane for the directional or ABXY buttons. Next, drop in the PCB and secure it with the 2 Phillips screws. Then add some double-sided tape to the flex PCB and fold it over onto the Joy-Con mainboard. And then begin to solder the wires as shown. L is for latch, V is for power, down is for the up button in the case of the left Joy-Con, G is for ground, and up is for the minus button. And this is how everything should look. Once you're all wired up, go ahead and put the Joy-Con back together. Now, let's move our attention to the right Joy-Con. We're going to trim all the same areas as the left Joy-Con, except we'll be trimming this side of the button wells for the flex PCB to pass through. And then go ahead and trim these areas of the battery holder midframe. Next, put in the buttons and membranes, except of course the membrane for the ABXY buttons. Now before putting the PCB back into the Joy-Con shell, I recommend installing both the NFC antenna and IR reader. Once done, go ahead and install the PCB into the Joy-Con, securing it with the 2 Phillips screws. And again, with some double-sided tape, fold over the flex PCB. Trim your wires to length and solder them to their corresponding points like we did on the left Joy-Con. Once you finish soldering your wires, you can connect the battery to make sure everything is working correctly. And in this case, everything looks great. So now we can move on to putting the Joy-Con back together. Once it's all assembled, you can now marvel at the RGB goodness. I have to say that I'm very impressed with this kit. Mitch even programmed my particular kit to have a Macho Nacho theme. There's the red and yellow colors from my logo, as well as the neon purple and blue, which are accent colors I use from time to time. Very awesome. When purchasing these kits from Mitch, you have the option to have pre-programmed color configurations for the buttons, but again, I'll get into that later in the video. First, let's go over the various features that this kit provides. So the LEDs in these Joy-Cons are fairly capable. In order to operate all the features, you'll need to utilize the plus or minus button and the up or X button depending on the Joy-Con you want to configure. For For this demonstration, I'll be using the left Joy-Con, which will utilize the minus and up buttons only. To start off, let me show you how to turn the LEDs on and off. To turn them on, simply press and hold the minus button, then press up twice, but holding up on the second press until the LEDs begin to illuminate. And it's the same process to turn them off. Next, to increase the brightness, press and hold the minus button again, then tap up 3 times. To decrease the brightness, tap up only twice. There appears to be 12 levels of brightness, and man, these things can get pretty darn bright. They can also thankfully be very dim as well. There is an incredibly large range in its brightness, which is an awesome feature. Now, I prefer to keep mine on the lowest brightness setting, which I find to be perfect for indoor use. Next, if you want to cycle through the preset color combinations, press and hold the minus button and tap up 3 times, holding on the 3rd press. Now, the presets are pretty neat. Mitch even set one up that mimics the Super Famicom colors, and another that represents the N64 colors. I think that's pretty awesome. Now, another really cool mode that you can activate is display mode. To enter display mode, press and hold the minus button, then tap up 4 times and hold on the 4th press. Once you see the green color flash twice, you know you've enabled display mode. What this mode does is when you latch your Joy-Cons to the Switch, it turns on the LEDs. And when the console is powered off, it turns them off. Now, it should be noted that when the console is docked, the LEDs will remain on. They will only turn off if the console is completely shut down or if it enters into sleep mode. And the last feature of this kit is configuration mode. To enter this mode, press and hold the minus button, then press up 4 times. The flashing teal means that you have entered configuration mode. Here you can make adjustments to each of the various presets. Mitch wrote a very comprehensive PDF which goes into all the configuration options and controls, which I'll have linked down below. So as you can see, this kit is fairly feature rich in terms of customization. Now let's move on to the pros and cons. Starting with the pros, I think this kit really adds some flair to the Joy-Cons. It looks fantastic in person, and being able to dim the brightness really makes it a pleasure to use. As you know, sometimes LEDs can be just too bright and distracting, but thankfully that's not the case here. Another pro is that all the configuration options utilize the front-facing buttons. Some of the other kits on the market require you to use the SL and SR buttons, which means you need to remove the Joy-Cons from the Switch in order to configure the LEDs. Some kits even require the use of a separate Bluetooth app on a mobile device to make any changes. This kit is self-contained and again uses the front-facing buttons, so you can adjust the settings with Joy-Cons on or off the Switch console. Also, the auto on and off functionality is so cool. For me, it gives the mod a sort of factory feel. Seeing the LEDs illuminate when you lock in your Joy-Cons makes it seem like this is how Nintendo would have implemented this type of feature. Now, something that's really neat is you can actually request from Mitch to have any color combination pre-programmed into your kit. All you need to do is provide him with your desired HTML color codes, and he'll program it into the mod for you before he ships it out. I think it's awesome that Mitch gives you the option to have your very own unique button color combination. With that, let's get into the cons. First, of course, this is quite an involved mod. What makes it difficult is the fine soldering. I actually think this mod could be made easier if you utilized a flex cable for each of the soldering points. However, I'm not sure if that's something that would be possible given the intricate and compact nature of the Joy-Con PCB. Another con is that the mod requires shell trimming, which actually isn't all that difficult. But because there is trimming involved, I would avoid performing this mod on rarer, limited edition Joy-Cons. Additionally, another con is that there is no way to change the color combinations. Once Mitch has configured them, they are essentially fixed. You can, however, adjust the hue and saturation of the colors through the advanced configuration feature. This is not a huge deal, but it is important to make sure you get the colors you really want before you order them from Mitch. And the last potential con is that there is an altered button feel since they no longer utilize the membranes. The clicks are a bit more pronounced, but in my opinion, they don't feel drastically different and gameplay really isn't affected. Now, for those of you who are interested in this kit, you can purchase this mod from Mitch through his Etsy store, which I'll have linked down below. A standalone kit will cost $65, which includes shipping. And if you'd like to purchase a full button set in addition to the kit, that will run you an extra $20 for a total of $85. One cool thing is that at no extra charge, Mitch will pre-program any color combination that you would like. At the moment, I believe you can have up to 7 different color combinations pre-programmed. All you need to do is provide him with the HTML color codes you want for each button. Additionally, Mitch offers a send-in service to mod your Joy-Cons for you. This service will cost $100, and that actually includes the price of the kit, so he is essentially charging you $35 for his installation labor. The $100, however, does not include return shipping, so that will vary depending on your location. So there you have it, a really awesome RGB LED kit for the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. As always, I'm curious about what you all think. Will any of you be getting this mod for your Joy-Cons? And if so, what color combinations will you choose? Definitely let me know by leaving a comment down below. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Macho Nacho Productions. I release content every Thursday, so be sure to turn on notifications. And as always, see you next time.